sometimes I can work on a project for months and months, and then the client just doesn't get it or doesn't care enough or doesn't want to spend the money on taking that one extra step and make it look really great, and then things just end up looking disappointing. I'm a graphic designer. I studied at Doubleyou.life. I recently came back to Israel. My graduation project at Doubleyou Academy was rebranding the Hebrew University, which actually had nothing to do with them. It was a student project. It was completely...
It's not like they knew that they needed to rebrand.
They had no idea. I just used to walk through there every day on the way to Doubleyou. It's the same campus, and I thought to myself...
What a tragedy.
Like, how do we make this look better? And like, why does it look like this? Why do things in Israel look the way they do? And why do we as citizens, and even more so as designers, like, why do we take this for granted? Why don't we try changing it? So it was completely like a research case study in which I went into their archives and I discovered the original logo, the original typography, and I tried surfacing it in my design. And I was lucky enough that my professor, that was he accompanied me throughout the whole project. He was my mentor. He was a very important teacher at Doubleyou. He's now the president of Doubleyou. And when I finished the project, he helped me promote it and try to push it and send it to the university. So I went to a bunch of meetings there for 2 years, and they kept saying to me, "Oh, okay, this is nice, you're cute, but like, no, thank you, we don't really need this." And then just when I was about to go to New York, and I had a ticket, and I was in the program, and I had an apartment and everything, 2 weeks before, I get an email saying, "Can we please have a price proposal?"
Wow.
I was like, "Price proposal for what?" Like the logo for my project, whatever. And then that started a whole process of putting together a team here in Israel, working with a bunch of startups, including
us.
Doubleyou.
Yeah.
I think Israelis are very resourceful. I think it might be something that is acquired in the army, or the general mentality here of like, let's get it solved, let's just do it. And it leads to a lot of improvising and a lot of problem solving, which maybe makes entrepreneurship something so big here. And I think it also creates interesting design solutions when you improvise and when you look for solutions even in places where you think everything's bad or something like that. And it makes very resourceful and self-aware designers, I think, and people in general. But from a design perspective, I think it creates something very interesting. The downside of that is sometimes when you're trying to look for quick solutions and just get the job done, and you compromise a lot of elements, and you overlook beauty, and you overlook delight, and you overlook being professional.
And sometimes instead of like focusing on the growth, you're focusing on survival. And when you're focusing on survival, it's like, okay, I'm going to save here $500 and here $1,000 and here $2,000. But then in the end, if you give less, you obviously receive less.
I completely agree. Don't like to pay, and I mean, it has its costs. Again, it's two sides of the same coin. On one hand, you can interpret what you said and said, yeah, that's why Israelis are great hackers, you know how to hack the problem, and you know how to solve it, and okay, I don't have enough money, so I'm going to solve it this way. And it has its positive sides, but at the same time, if something needs to be beautifully produced, or to really create value for someone, or to really, for instance, the university, create a whole package of things that look great, and not only make a business card look pretty, but to also make all the signage look great, and when the students graduate, to have it look great, and to really implement a full system that requires a lot more resources, a lot more patience, a lot more money. And I feel like it's a problem everywhere. It's not only startups. It's a general Israeli issue, I think. As a full stack designer, so yes, I have a lot of experience in branding, and now I've seen a little bit of entrepreneurship, and I'd like to learn more about product and see how I can bring more and more value to myself, to my clients, and maybe even my own company, and see how all these learnings can kind of add up to something bigger. Rethinking the way studios work today, design studios, and see how designers can work with startups better for both sides. So how do designers bring more value to startups, but also work at their pace and understand the needs on a deeper level, and create teams that are more targeted. That's one of the biggest challenges. I've been working on my website for the past few days, and I just realized I haven't touched it since 2014
Wow.
when I needed it for something else. So it's really hard, like when I have to think about branding myself or promoting myself. I'm kind of somehow used to things like working on their own, but I realize it's a point in my career where I have to put myself out there and see what happens. So yeah, I'd probably brand myself.
Cool. And this is the beginning.
This is just the beginning.